I don't know why it keeps muting itself. Let me watch it for a second. So my apologies, because there went, what, 2 minutes of yapping. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think it's going to stay on now. I'm not 100% sure. I do know I was having a little bit of internet in and out this morning. It is a classic fall Ohio day in Northeast Ohio, where it's rainy, it's dreary. It's truthfully the perfect day to be all cozied up and doing crocheting and knitting sorts of things. So, to reiterate, where I thought I was starting out earlier is that if you were just joining and you haven't started your Waterlily top by Olga Poltava, and you're like, it's the last day of the crochet along and, mine's not done. If you saw my thumbnail, I have made some progress more than that, but spoiler alert, because I am not wearing it, it's not done. So it's pretty close at this point, and I'm happy with the progress that I have made on it. So, you know, it's coming along. So if you have not finished your version or have even started your version of it, the world will keep spinning. And as I was also trying to say before I realized my mic was doing its own thing, or the connection, I'm not 100% sure yet. Because this has been a really, really enjoyable process, I think, for both you and I to do these live streams, I'm going to aim to do one a month. And so the first one in November, I'm hoping early November, we can talk a little bit more, or if anyone needs a little bit more support on their Waterlily top, that would probably be the best time to do that. Also, I say today is the last day to join the Facebook group for free. Do you think I'm really going to remember exactly when? Am I still going to let people in this week? Probably, let's be honest, because I know I have a ton of new friends out there, and that's really awesome. And maybe you just haven't found the live streams yet. So it will probably be cut off at the end of October to get in for free. And if you are interested in crocheting this Waterlily top, and maybe your money is a little bit tight, here is the Ravelry QR code. And there is the discount code. It is also available on Etsy. I'm just going to leave the Ravelry one up for a little bit to give people time to scan it. Also, the other thing that I think would probably really help Olga out is there's not a ton of finished projects of these on Ravelry yet, or even started projects. So if you wanted to go ahead and share your project on Ravelry, I'm sure that would help immensely. Also, favoriting the pattern, even if you're not ready to do it, all of those things help boost patterns and that sort of thing up in the searchability, and Ravelry wanting to push it out. And I can tell you, the thing that is really the coolest is when you see someone in the hot right now that you know. So anyway, so hello, Ellen, and hello, Olga. I do see a couple newer folks. So going back to, sorry, I wasn't watching my comments and, didn't realize because of all the wind and everything, I must have lost a connection somewhere. So my apologies for that. So I can always trim that off later, sometime tomorrow, but oops. So thank you for sticking with me, and I'm just glad I have internet, because about an hour ago I was getting a little concerned about that. So anyway, and then for anyone who might be new to this crochet along, or might not have heard my ad nauseum kind of adjustments that I am doing with my current version of the Waterlily top, this is going to be a boat neck version with more ribbing, and I have decided to do a knit ribbing because I really enjoy mixing crochet and knitting, because why not? And that is probably one of the easiest ways, is by making the ribbing knit. This is a little bit of a leap of faith in that I'll probably knit the ribbing for maybe another inch or so before I put it on longer lines and try to do a try it on to make sure that I have enough room to get it over. I did not do any seaming on the sleeve sides yet because I'm not sure if I'm going to. I think I'm going to wear it a few times with more open because I do plan on wearing this with a camisole underneath because go you if you want to go without a camisole underneath. I applaud you. I just personally, that's just not who I am as a person. So I thought it might just even be fun to have the big open sleeves. And if I decide it drives me crazy, then I can always seam it up later. And oh, well, thanks for joining Blonde Scales. Um, so that's really awesome. And then the other thing is, and hopefully my internet will handle this with the reconnection and everything, but let me just show more or less what I did was I decided, obviously, I wasn't doing any of the original neckline shaping for the shoulders. And then I used stitch markers. Oh, you know, and I kind of mocked up where I thought I wanted it. And I felt like, again, because I know I'm going to wear it with a camisole underneath, that I had a little bit of room to go wider on it. So I think I went about 3 stitches more outward. And this was purely just an experiment. And again, I just did a quick little mock-up with stitch markers, the locking kind. And that's what I determined I enjoyed. And now it's just going to be a process to do the ribbing and see how the final slouchy top look is going to end up. So that is this version, because while when I sometimes find something I like in a more mass-produced place such as Old Navy or Gap, I have been known to buy multiple colors of it. If I decide I really like it, I am hand making these, so I have the option to customize them. So I am moving along with knitting the ribbing, and the one challenge I discovered I had was that most of my smaller needles, because I have noticed it helps to go a little bit down even a fuzz more for knit ribbing when you're mixing it with crochet. Most of them are long enough that I would do a sock on it with a magic loop. And so this is a little bit longer, and I've had to kind of manage kind of a modified magic loop, and I don't love it. So I believe tomorrow it is arriving that I will be getting a shorter set, circular set of this size. I think this is 2.25. And remember, I do have a fairly loose gauge. So although I feel like for some reason I am knitting a little bit tight on this one, it just feels like when I go to pull the cords, and it just might be that I don't use this size very often, that's why it feels a little bit sticky on the acrylic yarn that I'm using. So all that to say is I could continue with this little extra loop as I'm knitting. However, I'm like, if I get a 16-inch or a 20-inch cable or circular, oh my goodness, knitting needle, I'm not opposed to that because that's perfect for hat sizes, and I do like to make hats from time to time. So I thought it was well worth the investment. So yeah. And the other thing is I've learned, I don't know what this is going to say about me as a person, if I really like a particular color, to stack up, because when I can't get it anymore, I'm going to be real sad. Hi, Sabrina. I think I just watched you right before I was sitting down for this, and I really like your version that's coming out a little bit stripy for, is it your granddaughter or your niece? I apologize. It's been a very busy weekend, so everything's a little bit fuzzy. But go ahead and check out Sabrina Knits. And well, really anyone here. Yarn Dog, both of your channels are really fun company to have, granddaughter. That's what I thought. Okay. So, and it's interesting because I believe someone last week or the week before had asked if anyone was planning on doing a striped version, and you have the self-striping yarn. So, also, well, hello. I am not surprised at all that, whoops, we already have a co-host because they've been napping all morning, which is unusual. Normally, they're kind of winding down by now. And he's also been very mama's boy the last couple days. I don't know if he's sensing that he's got his, big boy appointment later this week. I mean, he's a cat. He probably doesn't get it. So, um, so yeah, so we have apparently now Milo has decided to just wake up and deign us with his presence. And he thinks he's going to help, but he's really not. So, and this, yep. This is actually more what I was expecting lately. Oh, Chloe came into the other room, so he's going to go and torment her for a little bit, I'm sure. Hi, Renee. I don't believe you've joined us for a live yet. I know I've watched your channel, though. So that's awesome. Yeah. Sabrina, both of your versions are amazing. So again, for more people who are filtering in, go ahead and check out Save Everyone's channels. I'm going to be here until roughly 2 o'clock. I might call it a little bit early because I do have something after this because that's just the kind of weekend it is. And I had to turn something down today. So by all means, I'll be here. So if you want to hop off or, just grab your phone and go ahead and find some of these other channels, subscribe to them, or add them to your watch for later, or both. Yeah. Oh, yes. Good. Thank you for that, Tina. It's been a while since I've seen your channel come across my feed, so I'm going to have to save your channel. And because I know I have a busy day ahead, I think I'm going to go ahead and find you right now. And I am sorry if that is incredibly rude, but I know I have pretty much everybody else here. So I'm really glad to see some new faces. And because people are still trickling in, you may have missed that. Even though this is the last week of the crochet along, I could not add next Sunday. We are celebrating my dad's 76th birthday next Sunday. And well, I don't even know. I bought some candy for trick or treat, but not a lot. So I don't even think I'll be back in time to do our community trick or treat, which is fine. It's not the first time. It's when I make it cool. Otherwise, I will be adding more live streams to the future because this has been so much fun, and it's probably only going to be about once a month or so. And so if you have not finished or even started your Waterlily top by Olga Poltava, also the QR code is floating around in one of the corners. If you want to grab, that is the Ravelry link. And if things are a little bit tight for you, Holly15 will get you 15% off. Also, please start your projects in Ravelry. As you know, I say that knowing that I have not been the best at it, but that helps promote her pattern out to more people. And then, of course, if you can pay full price, I would encourage you to do that because, we need to support when we can. And I say that from a place of there are times where the only way I could manage certain patterns were by the discounts or free was the only pattern that I could afford for quite some time. So now that I have a little bit more discretionary funds, I'm not a huge go out and get coffee person, but I look at that as, I could spend money on coffee. I know, Sabrina. And I think I've kind of sort of figured out why I've gotten bad about that, but I haven't fully flushed out all of it because it's been on my okay, when I say my whiteboard, I don't mean the yarn math whiteboard because I still actually haven't erased it, but I did forget to grab it off the fridge. So if anyone needs some yarn math and some help on adjusting anything, please let me know and I will run and grab it really fast off the fridge. But by whiteboard, I mean my master bathroom mirror with dry erase markers. Is that I don't know. I feel like there's something with Ravelry that's starting to bug me, or at least like I've lost, I don't know, something, the specialness of it. Yeah, I I will say, Renee, part of me really, really wanted to this year. I mean, how many launches have we seen come out this year or in the last year, like, year or so? Is there's a lot of creators that have come out with their own yarn lines or collaborations with yarn companies. I think really the only reason I have not is because I tried to put myself on a pretty low buy yarn year, which I did go over on that. Even if I don't count my souvenir yarns, I am just trying to rein it in, and it's not for lack of not wanting to support them. It's I need to start using Stash is really where I'm going with this. And I was actually watching some just more general no buy year types of things where it's like check-ins for the year of no buy situations, and I'm like, do I just really need to do a no buy year next year so that I avoid going over again on a yarn budget? But then part of me thinks, well, but if I give myself zero yarn budget, am I going to be tempted to break it, much like a lot of people would break a diet because you're, trying to restrict yourself? So I have not decided, and I have 2.5 months to decide what my yarn spend goals or lack thereof are going to be for next year. So I think what's going to help is when I'm able to actually go through and redo my craft room, or at least clean out the stuff that doesn't belong in there. And so essentially what had happened was my craft slash yarn room, because I wanted to turn it into like a little bit of a yarn den and then put up my old TV, and then I could just do like the cozy fireside ambiance sort of things in the background. I thought that would be really like fun to have that in the fourth bedroom because I don't know, it doesn't really ever get used otherwise. And not that, I mean, I guess technically it's getting used, but it's getting used as a dumping ground. So I actually had it completely cleaned out at one point to very little, just a few things in there and then some workout stuff, which largely I'd given to my nephew since then. However, I also used to well, a lot of it is still stored in clear sweater organizers that you could zip up. And I thought that's a pretty safe way to store my yarn, except that sometimes cats will be motivated enough to make their own way through the vinyl and still get at some of it because they're really motivated. So I I don't know. And I feel like the cat situation is much calmer now. And I feel like that system worked very well for me. So do I re-implement that and then somehow figure out how to put them in that particular room because that closet is really tiny in that particular room? I don't know. I just don't want the big giant IKEA thing. First of all, I don't really want to go all the way down to Columbus. That's like a 3-hour drive just to go pick it up and hopefully it fits and drive home and put it together. Like I just feel like I don't think that's what I want for yarn storage. I had another thought of crates, which I did buy during the Joann's going out of business sale. So hopefully I can find the inspo. I was a little bit gatekeeping on it because I don't know. Sometimes I do that. So hopefully I can find the screenshot very quickly of, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Why do I take so many screenshots and like I don't even remember them? I do try to do like digital clear outs every so often, but this really definitely got away from me. And well, while this is scintillating for some, I'm sure. Um, it's kind of funny because that was one of the other like overconsumption videos that, of course, I decided to watch this morning was in regards to hobbies and supplies and everything. And I feel like it's a double-edged sword because part of me wants to be that person, but then another part of me really enjoys having some yarn collection. I think it's gotten a little out of control, or at least I had projects in my mind and then I know now I'm not going to do them. So now I just have yarn that is, I guess, up for grabs in my stash, essentially. So, oh my goodness. Was it even a screenshot? That is a very good question. I don't even know at this point. I thought it was. But essentially, the thought was because I had the cats in mind. I think I might actually be getting closer. I need to clear out all of my screenshots. This is, nope, it is not in my screenshots. So, so I have the wooden craft crates that are like this. And then there was a way where if you angled them in V's and then did another row underneath, and then you had all like mount them to the wall, and then obviously they would be up and the cats would be deterred from getting up there. Not necessarily impossible because I am learning where there's a will, there's a way. So, and the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I really don't want to put that many holes to screw those in to the wall that is free in that particular room. So I don't know. And I even considered like if I did a command Velcro, I just don't trust it. And I think that's why I'm starting to go back to what if I just replace the sweater organizers and do something that way? That's probably not a bad way to look at it. 4 balls out, 1 ball in. I think my problem lately, and I really have no business next year buying anything in sweater or blanket quantity or covering all my cushion quantity because that was a quantity that I bought and I bought enough with that in mind. Or what else? I had some other, oh, like a crocheted like snuggie kind of a thing because my insulation in this house is not great. So by like February when it's polar vortex, I thought that might actually be helpful. So um yeah, I don't know. I think that's wise because I was doing sweater quantities because before there was a period of time where I would buy just 1 or 2 balls or skeins of something and then you realize how limited you are and the types of projects. Yeah, I'm debating on how I'm going to show the transformation because, okay, I don't want to say part of me, but all of me is mortified at how bad this room has gotten. However, I also do understand I'm not the only person that will have a room that turns into a clutter nightmare. And so I also think it would be helpful for others to go through that decluttering and cleanup process. But yeah, that is the goal is to do something like that. I don't think that would be realistic to do live, even if I did it in chunks, because, and also, um, for anyone who doesn't know, this is not my first channel. My most recent channel, which actually did get monetized, and then it was a lot of work to film, was doing like decluttering and more manageable living types of things. And so that's, I think, why it bothers me that I have already filled that room up. But I really like the 5 minutes matters and doing it in 5 minute chunks. And it is kind of fun in a way to film that, but it is an awful lot of work. But I still feel like it's going to be totally worth it. So I bought idea profile. If I That's good to know. And I had debated if I wanted to do something with doors on them. One of my friends from high school, when they did an estate sale on her mom's house, which is actually not too far from me, I very seriously considered purchasing her, well, not her old, but like the china cabinet from her mom's estate because it had the glass, but like, and I'm like, this thing is going to be so heavy and it's definitely not going to fit in my car or, SUV. Like I would have to have gone to Home Depot and rented a pickup truck or something. I talked myself in and out of it every 5 minutes until I just made no move to buy it and get it over here, and it's gone, which is fine. I'm sure whoever got the china cabinet is enjoying it because it was gorgeous. Um, yeah, and I know my two major exceptions generally are going to be if it's for a specific gift that if I cannot find anything in stash, and so a friend is pregnant, and I asked her last night while we were all hanging out. She is having a baby girl, so and I know someone's probably like if you've been around for a little bit, you might go, well, great, because you bought the girl blanket yarn for your hairdresser who is now having a boy, except that, she is planning on having more kids and hoping to have a girl. So I still am planning on saving that yarn for her for the time being. And I think I want to do something else. I think I want to do a plush, my goodness, a plush animal for my friend Kate. So I think besides that, and then souvenir yarns are also a little bit of a pass because otherwise I'm going to buy something else that's a souvenir and that I would put on a bookshelf and barely notice and then have the dust and all of that other stuff. Whereas if I buy a souvenir yarn, then it reminds me of the trip and I both have the yarn and can make something with it and just enjoy it for so much longer and more useful of a souvenir than most souvenirs. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I think my only trip next year will be instead of DC, the one group is going to New Orleans. So if you saw my video from Friday, spoiler alert, I work in the compliance space. So that's why we often go to DC for conferences, but the one group in particular likes to mix it up and do every other year is in DC and then, somewhere else just to mix it up. So I think that was kind of where I'm at on that one. So I'm looking forward. I've never been to New Orleans and I cannot wait to check out the local yarn scene. And if anyone has any suggestions, I'm open. Which teddy bear did you make? Because I keep going back and forth on which teddy bear for my friend's her sister who just had a baby, and that will be for Christmas. So is what we negotiated for that. So I'll be curious to hear which teddy bear. I think I know which one I'm more leaning towards. Again, my screenshot system is getting out of hand. There was actually a meme that went around recently where it's like my system is so terrible that I'll screenshot my screenshots to bring it up in the filing system. And I'm like, yeah, that is me. And I feel attacked, except that um, maybe, I don't know. I have really lost the plot on keeping these things as reminders because they are so cluttered at this point. So, how long ago was that? I feel like I just did that video, or did I really just have that many Halloween things that I saved? Apparently. Okay. Maybe I deleted them if I thought I settled on one. Oh, nice. Ooh, stretchy stranded knitting. I don't know if I've ever heard of that technique, but I'm intrigued. And I don't need to learn more stuff because I already have so much stuff in my queue and in my favorites that I don't need to. Oh, well, that's really awesome that you made your own teddy bear. It's one of those things where, like, I could, with my level of experience, I really could. And I think really what it comes down to is because, especially with my job right now, and especially last week, which is why it took like 3 whole days to get the one video out, because I was so fried from other compliance issues and yelling at a different compliance area that, like, I don't want to have to think about these things. And if I would rather support a designer and purchase something and have you tell me what to do because I don't want to think. So, um, ooh, birds. Were they like the parrot ones? Maybe this has come across my radar at some point. Was it like maybe Annie or LA Crochet? I feel like someone did put out like a bunch of different kind of birds that were really cute. I don't think it was super recent, because I'm horrendously behind in all my YouTube watching because, well, YouTube is my primary source of media. So I'm both watching all of you and everybody else in the space because it's so fun, and I really do enjoy the chatty videos and the feeling of like I get to hang out with a friend and groups of friends and do the thing we love. Well, the thing that I love the most. I don't know about you. So aside from family, friends, cats, it's yarn. Um, Tula Maria. Oh, all right. Well, I'll put that up on screen. So if anyone wants to take a second and also look that up, again, we'll be here for a little bit longer, and feel free to grab anything or screenshot it if maybe don't do my screenshot system and maybe do better at cleaning them out. I don't know, or be like me, and that's fine too. Ooh, it is really picking up on the rain, and so that's going to be a real fun drive here in a little bit. So hopefully it's just a really quick burst, which does happen often in Northeast Ohio. Um, okay, how have I not found Tula? Am I pronouncing it correctly, Tula? I hope. So anyway, okay. But yeah, so because YouTube is my primary source of media and entertainment, I'm both watching this sort of stuff, a couple of other areas of interest, and um, a good chunk of my current events as well. So I think that's why I like YouTube. Is a lot of the current events is a little bit more. I mean, you can get some of the mainstream networks and stuff, but you can also get other points of view and a little bit more of reality of what's going on. Wow, videos for I should know that videos from Rhinebeck are already coming out, especially for anyone who attended, and especially for anyone who is in a position that can hire an editor on the opposite side of the world from them, and they can just send the footage over, or if they did the fully like raw video, that's also fun too sometimes. So I'm totally not surprised at this point that it's still Rhinebeck weekend and we're getting Rhinebeck videos. I That was actually one video I did want to put out, and then because some of the other stuff, the other videos came up first, I think I kind of missed the season, is whether or not you should feel compelled to do a yarn crawl or a fiber festival. And it was mostly so like if you feel like a little bit left out, it's fine. I have done one fiber festival and it wasn't one of the big ones. Every year I say I'm going to go to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool with my friend Michelle, who is Crafty Flutterby on both Ravelry. She has her own website. I don't even believe she sells on Etsy anymore, but she largely sells shawl pins and tags for your garment. So like, this is the back, that sort of thing. I believe I featured her in a gift guide last November, so almost a year ago at this point. So I always say every year, like, I'm going to try to go with her, and it always lands during my heavy conference season. So it's just very, very difficult. But I did go down to Medina, Worcester. It's a bit of a drive, somewhere in Northeast Ohio, and it's like Memorial Day-ish weekend. So it's not one of the massive ones, and I think that was probably a good choice for my first fiber festival. I was also spinning at the time, so that was like a huge draw for me, is to get, spinning wool for that purpose. Yeah, I think it's worthwhile to go to fiber festivals and to do a yarn crawl at least once if it fits your budget. If it doesn't, do your own thing or spread it out throughout the year. But I've heard of those. But I think the reason I really haven't done a yarn crawl at all in my area, and if you want to see what it looks like in Northeast Ohio, maker Mark Knits Mark Vogel, he did one last year, and I haven't watched his one this year that just came out. So if you want to see kind of how Northeast Ohio does it, because there's several ways that I've seen the the yarn crawls done in various areas, he would be the one to check out. But because I still have yarn from the very first yarn crawl that I did in somewhere around 2013 era or so, I don't need to. And for me, it was very overwhelming, and to the point where if I participated in any thereafter, I just did like maybe 5 shops or something. Ooh, which one did you go to? Because we want to know. And what'd you get? Because that's also important. Oh, a week of videos. That would have been fun to like do it that way. I think last year, if I remember correctly, Mark's video was, did he do it alphabetically? I feel like of which shop he hit in Northeast Ohio, which definitely would not be the route I would recommend. So so that was really interesting that he did clips back to back, and I think he did a really good job at least capturing the shops that I'm familiar with. There are certainly different shops that have entered into our yarn discovery tour, or just newer shops in the area that are now part of it. So it's really good to discover different vibes and have the fun of running around to all the shops and maybe running into the same people at different shops as you're going along and doing lunch and that sort of stuff. But it can be a lot, and that's really my only cautionary tale, is just kind of be prepared for it. So I know some yarn crawls are not as much as Northeast Ohio. We are lucky to have, there were 16 or 18 this year, which is a lot. And then when you see it on the map, it doesn't seem like a lot, but they actually put on the website somewhere where it was like, oh, if you did the full loop, just driving alone is 8 hours, because, it's just a lot of ground to cover. Ooh, okay. Well, so if you want to see Ellen's yarn haul from Volfest in Halle, that's the extent of my German, was Vol. So, so go ahead and make sure you check out her haul and vlog, because you've had a lot of really fun ones lately. So, and your mom is a peach. I don't need to tell you that. You already know that. So that was really fun watching her go through your yarns. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there, and a lot of really interesting ones I would like to hit. It's just it can be a lot. So I think it's worthwhile, but it's also you almost have to prepare yourself going in. And the other thing is if you're new to the knit and crochet community and you're just kind of learning about local yarn shops or anything for a crawl or for, well, I guess even for a fiber festival for the indie brands and stuff, I think as long as you can budget for it, I think too, because I think that's probably part of why I still have so much yarn from that first time I did a yarn crawl over 10 years ago. Did I buy even yarn when I went to the Fiber Fest, or did I only get roving? I feel like I only got roving, so the person who purchased my spinning wheel also got that as well. So, because that was I don't know if that's an unfortunate learning because I enjoyed it, but it was like you finish the yarn, okay, cool, and then if you want it plied, then you ply it, and then I'm like, okay, but aren't I done yet? And now I'm supposed to knit this too, and I'm already over this yarn. But that was just a me problem. I know there are plenty of people who will see the process all the way through and, really enjoy that. Well, hi, Marianne. You're never too late. Cat sitting. Well, you missed our co-host Milo, who's already back napping because I don't think you can quite see out this window, and I think it's just the way the light is coming in. But it is a rainy, dreary weekend, so the cats are getting a lot of extra sleep today, and I don't blame them. I did try to sleep in this morning. It did not work, mostly because they felt like they needed treats. They had food, but they wanted treats. So, you know, I guess another question that was on my mind because I mentioned that I'm leaving my sleeves open on this one in particular because I'm definitely wearing a camisole under both of these. Or, I mean, it's just like a strappy tank top, honestly, like the ones that you can get for like $5 at most places or 10 maybe at Kohl's if you don't get it on sale. Um, I'm just curious how any of you are planning on wearing your Waterlily top. I currently have the black underneath, which I feel like you might have seen. The teal underneath I did also underneath for a video one day for fun. And then I believe it was week 2 that I had managed to secure a blush matching colored camisole. And all 3 looks I think are super fun. And so I'm just curious what your plans are, or if it's going to be more like a vest, or if you're really brave, unlike me, and you're just going to, wear a lacy top with whatever choice of undergarments or lack thereof. Um, One channel I watch occasionally is Amazing Ish Grace, and she's in New York City, so obviously the fashion scene there is a little bit different. And man, sometimes I wish I had her confidence, but I will just live vicariously through her. I'm just going to throw on this lacy thing without anything underneath. So, um, okay. Well, I'm up to 3 and again, and I really struggled with it, except that I learned that my cousin has 9, and it's hard to tell because there are 5 tabbies that look, I mean, almost identical. One's just a fuzz chubbier in the face than the others, and I feel like there's 4 I have not seen. So they were probably in the basement. And also good for her because had her son not mentioned it, I would not have realized that there were 9 in that house. So that is some commitment to cleanliness for sure. Nice. Also, I mentioned this last week. Sabrina also has one that's variegated. So if you want to see different versions of this one, whether it's a variegated yarn and see how that crochets up, and then your self striping, go ahead and check that out, because part of me wishes I would have thought of it, but also when I swatched this color, I just had to have it. And then also because I had been working on my teal sweater, which is hanging up right now, and I had this sitting near it every so often, but this will be a similar representation. I feel like I want to do something in these colors since I have certainly a stupid amount of this left, because even letting the cats steal a ball of it, and then what I've put into this so far, I think I have like 15 balls of the We Crochet Knit Picks Brava Sport, because at one point this color went on sale or clearance for $2 each, and then I thought, well, I mean, for $2 each, that's $40. So $20 for sweater quantity and $20 for a blanket quantity. And I had made neither up until recently. So, oh, nice. I know you had to start all over again. So that is impressive that you have made that much progress all over again. So this is the trick, I think, is with shaping. So because I know for me personally, I have like a thing about wearing bell sleeves. Are they cute? Yes. However, I hate when they are like this or dragging and then food. And so I don't want to manage bell sleeves and they just end up bothering me. So unless you did the rectangular and then did ribbing for like a balloon sleeve, that would be one way you could do long sleeves on it. But yeah, the shaping on them is going to be the trick. So I think it's going to be beautiful. Whatever you decide on is going to happen. And honestly, I haven't done anything in the lacy shell stitch. This is not a shell stitch, but it's in that family in my mind to remember how shaping might have been done in previous projects. So, yeah. And then the other thing that's nice about worsted is then you can go down in size and, feel really good about yourself. Yeah, and I think that's the nice thing about doing a sport weight, and especially this was the cotton acrylic blend in the Alize Cotton Gold. This is a really nice top. The first time I was in DC in August, well, Maryland, but could throw a rock and hit DC. It was really hot, so I was really glad I finished it in time for that conference. So I've started doing that, is if I don't need a gazillion of something or I don't have enough, I'm just going to pay for the shipping. Also, fun fact. Now, this is Knit Picks. They do their own thing, and I think it's like 5-ish bucks for shipping anyway. So I've certainly wasted $5 on dumber things in the past other than shipping, and then, I can control myself. Also, if you have Walmart Plus, now I also have in-home because I'm not an Amazon, Prime person. I personally don't fully see the value in it because there's no like Amazon Market or anything by me. I'm bordering on rural. I'm like the last neighborhood out before like actually no, there's farms all over, and even back here, the woods that used to be behind me, that's farmland now. So, they don't have the market or anything. So I do the in-home because I recognize like, hey, if I stay out of the store, I will spend less. So also the convenience of getting my time back. If you have Walmart Plus, they for sure have Premier on their one of their free shipping vendors. So how they do it is it's slightly more per ball of Premier. So there were times where if I only needed one or two, now the shipping windows, I don't even know. Sometimes I got it in a couple of days, and then there was one instance where it took almost 3 weeks for it to get to me. Now that was also at the height of Christmas. I thought I had done it early enough to miss that big Christmas rush, but I assume they might be partnered with some of the other brands, but because I was going low spend, I haven't checked out to see if they're with a Lion brand or any of the other big yarn houses. Absolutely. Ooh, 3/4 sleeves. I need some 3/4 sleeves in my wardrobe as well because I'm notorious for I love sweaters. I really, really do. But I'm also this person that will, shove them up. And I just don't think I have anything in my current size that is a 3/4 length sleeve. So that would also be really interesting to see as an option. That would also make a really nice holiday option as well. So imagine that the vision of 3/4 sleeve in this, but also with like a metallic or a sequin yarn, or even one that has like pearls or something scattered throughout it. That would be like a standout, amazing holiday sweater or anything dressy, like a wedding or whatever. Yay! Awesome. I'm sure that will give us something to look forward to and, it'll be nice to see. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I feel like for a while it was very easy to find stuff in 3/4 length sleeves, and then they just like went out of style. And unless I find it on Poshmark, because some of the Kohl's brands you can still find on Poshmark or Mercari and get 3/4 length sleeves. I just also have not been shopping much for me in clothing lately other than the odd t-shirt. And, this is how I was feeling today because I have not had much downtime since early September. And, you know, so yeah, thanks, Olga. We are looking forward to that video. One thing that always amazes me about these live streams is how quickly an hour can go by. So, if there are any comments, questions, I will give everyone just a little bit longer to ask anything. If you have any suggestions, if anyone, Marion, there is not another week of live streams. Next Sunday, we are celebrating my dad's birthday. I thought 4 weeks was going to be enough, but I'm not even done with my own because life. Um, that's right. You came in a little bit later. So again, I'll reiterate for anyone else, I will start adding live streams. I'm going to aim for once a month and I'll try to do one in early November. So that way, if anyone wants to partake along, we can do that. And why, thank you. His birthday is actually the 29th, and next Sunday was the best time for us to. He actually likes a restaurant in Pennsylvania just over the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania. So it is quite a day. And even if I tried to do everything, it would be trying to rush back and then sometimes we like to stop and hit some of the malls and everything on the way back. So for like, there's Boscov's, if anyone's ever heard of that. I didn't until they put it into, I don't remember which mall they put it in. But yes, I will pass it along. Many happy birthdays. 76 and still getting around and tinkering and putting up fences. Believe it or not, he just put a fence up along his entire property, which is very deep. So, um, but hey, keep using it or you lose it. I'm just going to pop this up a little bit longer. So that is the QR code for the private Facebook group. And because what I've noticed is I'll do these live streams and then some others might watch it throughout the week and or remember to join later in the week. I'll actually probably keep it open until the end of October, especially because there are a lot of new viewers and joiners to the channel. And so I'm actually going to cut off the free availability to the Facebook group at the end of the month. And then you'll see that will be added as a membership tier. And again, it is not meant to be prohibitive in the sense of I want people to feel excluded. It is more just, I know sometimes people will infiltrate groups and just create problems where they don't need to be. So that is just a little bit of a deterrent to anyone in the future as my channel grows that might have that in their minds. So I've been incredibly lucky so far, and that we have an amazing group, and which is why I want to keep doing these live streams. So and then the other thing is for live streams going forward, for the purpose of the crochet along, I wanted to keep it as consistent as possible to avoid any confusion or trying to have to remember anything. I do plan to mix it up a little bit because I know there were a few in Australia or that I'll see later on in the week that wish they could attend. So I will be mixing it up somewhere on the weekends and then, I don't know, kind of just adjust whether it's in the morning or right now or later in the evening, just to try to, mix it up a little bit and try to include as many others as possible. So the best place to look for that is going to be on my posts tab on the channel. And if you're not super familiar with how to do that, I put my phone on do not disturb, and yet there's a million notifications in the last whatever. So if you go here and then kind of scroll across, there's a posts tab. I do try to keep updates on there on things like that. So yes, the community tab, they renamed it posts. There is now the ability that I was part of the beta test and for some reason I couldn't get it to quite work, but I think that function is fully available on my channel that you can now also post on the community tab. So that's the best place to look for it. I would like to think that I would keep stuff updated in my description boxes as much as possible. I know the reality of who I am as a person, but so as much as I would love to be able to do that, that's probably the best. Oh, great. You know what? Am I logged into that? No, I'm not logged into that one. Okay, sorry. So I will make sure I approve that this afternoon. And again, if you're watching on the replay, feel free to grab the QR code for the Facebook group, and I'll keep it open for just a little bit longer. And if the Facebook group isn't for you, that's fine too. That's probably why they started the community tab and allowing your viewers to post over there. And of course, I just ask that you be respectful because I would hate to have to turn that feature off after they included that. But the Facebook group to me is a little bit more, it's a little bit cozier. I had considered whether or not I might do some sort of a holiday exchange where maybe you could stash dive and gift someone in the group something that you don't want anymore. So I don't know. It's the Facebook group is new. Anyone who's joining now is a founding member. Congratulations. You have helped found something. Um, the name of the Facebook group, that is a really good question. I believe it's just Stitch is Gonna Stitch. Um, and then I am actually wearing this top in the profile picture, so that will be helpful. Let me pull it up really fast. Yes, I just named it Stitch is Gonna Stitch, which I was pretty sure. So it's going to look something like that, like my normal channel art. I try to keep everything consistent. You know, feel free to share stuff. Memes are one of my love languages. So this is really just for anyone to connect and enjoy our crafting together. Because as much as the rest of the people in our lives like to support our crafting hobbies, they just don't always get it. And it's you want to talk about what you're working on, and it's just like they don't know. So anyway, with all that, it is a little bit after 2, which means I really should probably get going, unfortunately. And, I'm really glad we did this. I'm not sure if it will be that first weekend in November or the one following. There's still a couple of scheduling things I needed to figure out between now and then. And I will try to, again, make sure it's announced well enough in advance on the community tab. And then, you know, go from there. And I don't know, does anyone watch shorts anymore? I feel like they really don't. I don't know the best way to announce it outside of the community tab. So, but yes, thanks everyone for joining. And this was super fun. And I'm actually kind of a little bit sad now because I was hoping the last one I would be able to do a little bit longer, but such is life. This just seemed to be the weekend that everybody is having birthday parties and other celebrations and everything. So again, last chance to go ahead and grab screenshots of all of your channels and watch each other. Everyone is so fun to hang out with. And as always, thank you for joining me in my Northeast Ohio home well, for me, it's a cozy, rainy, not super chilly day, but the perfect fall day for continuing on if you can do so. And I will see you next time. Bye.